The more negative the news is, the juicier, the better. They would even call you names like negra. They will even say, oh dear, the foreigner has to be careful. Every village has at least one group of town gossipers. Hey, it's me again, Rubeauti. In this video, I want to talk about Filipino behaviors that most Western people don't understand. Not only you guys. Sometimes when I think about it, I also don't understand where these behaviors are rooting from. Like the very famous Filipino time. May it be at work or family gatherings, meetings, night out, or even a date. Most reasons you will hear is, I'm sorry I'm late, the traffic is so bad. Forgive me. But to be honest, they just woke up late for some reason, or they don't give much importance to punctuality. So if you already saw my street interviews about the toxic Filipino behaviors, no one explained why and how these behaviors become toxic. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain the reasons behind all these toxic Filipino behaviors and why are they toxic. Because I myself is a Filipina and sometimes I do some of this also. So the first one I mentioned was the Filipino time. Most of the people just don't give much importance to not being late or being punctual all the time. It's like so easy to make an excuse when they're late. They're just, I'm sorry, it's the traffic is so bad, or my mom asked me to do something, so I am late. But at work, most of the reasons you will hear is the traffic is so bad. Like, the traffic is like that every day. So why is it even still a reason that you're late? Number two, the crab mentality. Crab mentality is a way of thinking best described by the phrase, if I can't have it, neither can you. But here in the Philippines, they would usually talk negatively about someone to deem the person's light. And that is how they pull them down. By spreading fake news or by doing chismis. Of all the toxic behaviors there are here, the crab mentality is one of the most common. It's actually an upgraded crab. It's a king crab mentality. In the Philippines, although life is very hard, the competition in everything is very high, mainly socioeconomic aspect. One of the common scenarios is when your neighbor is dating a foreigner. Then suddenly she can buy nice things and expensive things. Her neighbors will start talking about her, saying that she can afford to buy these things now because of her boyfriend. Well, obviously, it's true. But what is the point talking about it in a negative way and making grumpy faces? They will even say, oh dear, the foreigner has to be careful. For sure, she only wants his money. She doesn't deserve him. Why can't you just be happy for them? But when they see her outside, they will talk to her like she's their best friend, and they will be like, hey friend, if you already have your visa or if you're already in the US or in the UK, don't forget us, huh? Don't forget us because, you know, we're friends. Don't forget our pasalubong. I am not making stories, guys. This is how it is here in the Philippines and mainly in the province. But one of the most common you will hear in normal Filipino conversation is when they are talking about someone's work or someone's success. It would be like, oh my gosh, the Philippines won the Miss Universe. Can you believe that? She's so good and she's so smart. In every conversation like this, there is always someone who will say, yeah, but she's not pure Filipino. It's very obvious. Or, yeah, she won even though she's not really pretty as the others. There are always side comments. I don't like when people do that because it ruins the vibes. Like, why don't you just accept it and be happy? One example is in school, when someone got the best presentation and all the teachers were impressed with someone's work. Others would talk about their classmate and they'd go, she is so good at everything, but her boyfriend is not handsome, you know that? She saw her boyfriend already? He's not handsome, she deserves someone better. Like, no matter how good someone is, other people would always bring something up, even if it's out of topic. As long as it's negative, they think it would make the conversation juicier. The crab mentality is always tied to people who love making chismes or gossips. Like I said, guys, I'm not making this up. This is what a normal Filipino conversation sounds like here. And that is one of the most toxic behavior of Filipinos, the chismes, gossipers, rumor mongers. People just love it. Why do they do this? It's somewhat part of Filipino culture. It's really like some kind of an everyday entertainment. Most of the people who do this don't have a job. They only stay at home, so they try to do some things that can entertain them to kill boredom. And most are the stay-home moms. After they finish the household chores, they go out and find someone they can talk to, and so the chismis begins. The more negative the news is, the juicier, the better. People are like commentators. And if you're a person who doesn't like gossiping, there is just nothing you can say in a conversation. You'll be like, oh, okay, really? That's bad. People like assuming things and making stories in their heads to stitch up information they already know so they can come up with one complete story. They would add stories that are not true to make the gossip juicier, like I said, especially when they hate the subject or the person. It is mostly about other people. Every village has at least one group of town gossipers who meet every single day to talk about news, and those news mostly are negative about other people's lives. Another toxic Filipino behavior, and is well known for Filipinos, is utang na loob. In English, it is more translated as sense of gratitude, that of reciprocity. The idea is that Filipinos feel the drive to pay others back, whether in terms of money, effort, or time. Filipinos are naturally endowed with generous hearts. At a young age, children are encouraged and rewarded for sharing. But this Filipino mentality is mostly used in the context of a family. As to the parent-child relationship, children are expected to tend to their parents in the future. With grade school students, you always hear this. I will strive to receive good grades in order to get a job so that my parents can stop working and I can help my family. We were raised in the concept of paying our family back once we finally got a job. And it is expected that you would provide for your family. I won't consider this as a toxic mentality if the children are not obliged the responsibility to take care of their families. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the fact that one wants to help their family, but it is a toxic mentality that the family or the parents would oblige their children to pay them back when they start working. I have friends who feel really stressed that all their family ask them to provide almost everything. Not only the parents, but also the siblings who are already married, and the nephews and the nieces. It's heartbreaking that even if the person wants to save up for his or her future, they just can't because they are giving everything to their parent. So when they finish their studies, the parents can finally stop working, then it will be now the children, who would take care of the whole family. So it is like a cycle that goes on and on and on for generations in the family. I think that is one of the factors why many people are stuck in being on the same level in their life. They could not move further because of the heavy responsibility. It is almost like a burden to some. They give their parents monthly allowance, they pay their siblings tuition fees, the monthly electric bill, the medicines, and the water bill. That is why a lot of people, especially women, are trying to escape this responsibility by getting married. They make it as an excuse to not provide for their families anymore. But as a consequence of this impulsiveness, their life would still be miserable. So these breadwinners, as we call them, couldn't even enjoy their youth and their single life because of the huge responsibility they have. And that is a toxic life. Most of the time, the children would feel bad if they don't give what their parents are asking them. Because it's just the way Filipinos are. They feel the need to take responsibility. They feel happy when they can make their family happy. But at the same time, they feel stressed and annoyed that everyone is depending on them. Next is the body shaming. Oh, look at her. Her skin is so dark. Like, hello? The majority of Filipinos have dark skin. That is the natural skin color of Filipinos. Why is it even a big deal? As I mentioned in my last video, the skin color here in the Philippines, people still think that it has something to do with class and beauty. That is the reason why they are so fixated on their skin color. They would even call you names like negra. I know maybe in your country, in your language, maybe it is just a color. But here in the Philippines, they use that word for bullying or making fun of someone's skin color. I am not making this up, guys. This is true here. I don't know if I am just overly sensitive and my feelings hurt easily, but the way they talk about one's skin color is off-putting. You can determine if someone is joking around to compliment you or bullying you. People have also normalized body shaming to the extent where they would shame themselves first to avoid being shamed by their colleagues or friends in front of their faces. I've also experienced that many times because of my skin color. In other scenarios, some would call themselves fat before others call them fat. Then they would defend themselves by saying, oh yeah, so what if I'm fat? I just have much money to buy all the food that I want to eat. But I don't understand why they would body shame someone. I think maybe because they thought they are helping them to improve their appearance, when in fact they are making them feel inferior and insecure. The last one is lies, excuses, alibis, or Filipinos are never wrong. It doesn't matter if it's a white lie, but they would lie to save face. These are more particularly in couples or at work. I have a friend who told me about her frustrations at work. Her boss gave her a score of 1 out of 5. 1 is equivalent to the lowest score as if she didn't do anything good for the whole year. When in fact, she completed all the requirements to at least get a score of 3. Perfect attendance, no tardiness, and accomplishment of all the tasks. But they gave her 1. When she asked her supervisor why she got 1, because she needed an appraisal, but to get an appraisal, you need to get at least a score of 3. So her supervisor told her, that is what the manager gave you, and I don't know why she gave you 1. And she found out from one of her friends that is also a supervisor, they don't want to give the appraisal, that's why they gave her 1, and she cannot do anything about it. She accepted it just like that. And also, Filipinos are never wrong. I heard this from foreigners who are working in the Philippines. They said Filipinos are never wrong. They will never admit their mistakes. Instead, they would make some excuses or alibis to save their ass. Like, they would go, oh, it's not my fault. The thing is very difficult to understand. Or, it's confusing. I was not informed about this and that, so it's not my fault. Yeah. We never make mistakes. We are perfect. But yeah, these are the most toxic mentality here ever. Because me as a Filipino, these are the most toxic mentality that I've observed and I experienced also. I'm sure there are a lot more that I didn't mention, but if you know some more, please put them in the comment section. And what do you think is the reason why these Filipino mentalities are toxic? I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next videos. That